Hi there, thanks for tuning into Album Brews. Please note, we do drink while recording this podcast, and if you choose to drink along at home, we encourage you to do so responsibly. Enjoy the episode. Cheers.
Hey everybody, and welcome to a very special bonus episode of Album Rebrews. Our eagle-eared listeners might recall that several episodes ago, we discovered the musical stylings of a man named Matt Farley, who you might know better as the odd man who sings about towns and cities, or the odd man who sings about poop, puke, and pee, or the odd man who sings about any number of strange phenomenon. The point being, Matt Farley has recorded over 20,000 songs, each one more hyper-specific than the last.
We were amazed and terrified, and we knew we had to get him on the pod.
Dare I say, we were intrigued. But after a few super fortunate emails, we were able to get Matt Farley on our rinky-dink little podcast, and you'll hear the events that transpired. Enjoy.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for joining us here on Album Rebrews. I'm not sure if you're familiar with us, but we're certainly very familiar with you. We've spent a fair bit of time delving into your catalog, and we're really, really happy that you're here to chat with us for a little bit. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and I listened to the episode where you were slowly discovering my music, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, we had a great time on that episode.
Being like, wait a second, this is the same guy who does the poop songs.
Literally, yeah. It was a crazy realization. I mean, like the timbre of your voice is so recognizable, and it was such a huge kind of internet trend at the time that I was familiar with. So we're very, very stoked that you're taking this time to be with us today.
Yeah, well, I always kind of want to be a fly on the wall when someone makes that realization, you know, like if you're on Spotify, you might scroll down and see like related artists, and you're like, wait a second, that's all the same guy, like using different names.
You look a little closer at the picture.
Yeah, it was kind of like being a fly on the wall, listening to you guys kind of piece it together. So that was very cool.
Is that something that you've come to realize happens fairly often, just given the fact that you've got so many aliases?
Yeah. I mean, people will contact me and tell me their story, you know, about how they'd heard me, you know, 5 years earlier under one name, you know, and kind of forgotten about me, and then heard me under another name, and then been like, where have I heard that voice before, you know, and then slowly digging. So I think I kind of have like given people a little treasure hunt to go on, you know, where they can slowly piece things together, and it's fun for them.
And not really little either, right? Is it 20,000+ songs?
Yeah, I guess it's a pretty big 22,000 and counting.
Wow. Yeah, that is a pretty sizable treasure hunt.
Are all those cataloged with like ASCAP or BMI? I just imagine the nightmare that would become.
Yeah, it is. I've only it took because it's so daunting, you know, it took me a while to even think about doing that.
Yeah.
So basically, if an album is successful,
then you oughta
I'll sign it up with them. And there's plenty others. I mean, I have albums that have been out for 10 years and they've only earned me like $85 like total, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not worth the time of typing in each song title. You know?
Or get yourself a very motivated intern.
Yeah, you know, I think about that sometime, but it just would be weird to, like, if I had an intern, my whole day would revolve around finding work for the intern to do. Like, I'd feel this weird obligation, you know? So I do everything. And I guess, you know, it's like, I would be looking over the intern's shoulders the whole time, like, whoops, did you spell that right?
Yeah.
And so I just need to let me do everything.
Sure.
And then I get to whine about it to my wife, too. I work so hard.
That's probably the most important aspect of the DIY aesthetic.
I like the I like being in charge of every little thing. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Matt, for folks who don't know, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with you through their own specific avenues. I think for us, it was you were the guy who sings about cities and towns, and then we learned that you were the guy who did the poop songs. Do you find that you get recognized most from one of your particular aliases?
It's definitely the poop songs. The poop songs are so popular that I have 2 acts of poop songs. There's the Toilet Bowl Cleaners, which is the band, and I'm the only member of the band. But then there's a competing artist called the Odd Man who sings about poop, puke, and pee. And I've created this fake story where he is the lead singer of the Toilet Bowl Cleaners, and like he had a little, in band fighting, and he went solo. And so there's a lot of tension within the Toilet Bowl Cleaners right now.
Oh man, there's so much lore.
Yes. Yeah. It goes a lot deeper too. Like the Singing Animal Lover has a rivalry with the Odd Man who sings about poop, puke, and pee. And the Singing Animal Lover actually started his own label.
Oh my
Singing
God.
Animal Lover Music. Yeah.
Okay, so this goes like a lot deeper than we initially realized. Like these guys have beef.
Yeah. So the Singing Animal Lover was mad because Animal Poop Songs was done by the Odd Man who sings about poop, puke, and pee. And the Singing Animal Lover was like, come on, I'm the animal guy. I should be allowed to do that. And so he wrote a whole album in which he got angry at Moturn Media. And like the album is just filled with me as the Singing Animal Lover saying bad things about Matt Farley of Moturn Media and calling him and then the Singing Animal Lover has recruited other acts to leave Moturn Media, so he's put out albums by the Toilet Bowl Cleaners and the Very Nice Interesting Singer Man, and I just think it's hilarious.
I mean, yeah, like you essentially have started beef with yourself here.
Yeah. Like, he's got a song called Matt Farley is a Thief and a Liar and a Jerk.
Come on.
So it's me singing about how much I hate myself. But I swear I'm a very grounded and healthy individual, I promise.
Okay, so we've kind of built up this lore where you have beef with yourself. Yeah. And so what happens next?
Yeah, and then the guy who sings songs about cities and towns has an album called I've Never Left My Hometown, where he opens up about his sad existence and his fear of leaving town and how he lost the love of his life because she wanted to go see the world. Her name was Kathy. And then, shortly, a couple years later, the Very Nice Interesting Singer Man released Roy and Kathy, which is about his short love affair with Kathy. After she left the guy, she went on to the Very Nice Interesting Singer Man.
What a story. We laugh, we cry, we poop.
Can I use that? I'm gonna use that quote on a poster.
Oh yeah, please do. Yeah.
So Matt, I'm curious. Did you have all of these characters and these aliases in your head when you started your projects, or did they sort of come about as you started writing your songs?
Yeah, the second thing, it came about as I went on, just slowly, and even sometimes people making suggestions to me. I think it was actually on my podcast. I had a guest who I told him I was going to do an album about the Very Nice Interesting Man falling in love, and he was like, he should fall in love with Kathy from that other album, and I was like, ooh. That's a good idea.
I'm going to spend all episode now thinking of some suggestion for you.
Okay, so to pivot, the thing I know you most from and brought up on the episode was the TikTok name Poop Songs. What was it like dealing with that level of virality in that moment?
Yeah, it's been fun. Yeah, it's been it's come in a couple of waves. Like it happened on TikTok especially. It happened on TikTok back last summer, where it peaked for a little while, and I got a lot of direct messages and emails with names. Then it died down a little bit, but then when I finally got to doing all those names that had been sent to me over the summer, then it happened again. You know, like the viral kind of thing happened again in March, just a couple months ago, and I mean, I was searching TikTok, and like you said, I mean, I just searched like from the last day. I would just be scrolling. I'm like, oh my God, there's been like 3,000 videos in the last day of people dancing to my songs. This is awesome, you know? And I could see, so TikTok does not pay very much, you know? But it's still okay. It's still good because it led to way more YouTube views, way more Spotify listens, and all the other things. So obviously I would accept more money from TikTok, but I'm not going to complain about it too much. And so, yeah, I've got close to 1,000 names I still have to do, you know, and wow. I can give you some of the names. I mean, we got Kami, Kami, we got Usagi, Usagi, Alberta, Meadow, Talia, Dax, Marlena, Mila, Elise, Tarzania. So, I mean, they're getting more and more unusual, but one of my biggest fears is not having anything to write about. And so luckily, like anytime I'm feeling uninspired, I'm like, all right, it's time to do the Tarzania poop song.
That's wild. Do you think you'll ever get like a good chunk of all the names ever created? Or not ever created, obviously.
Yeah, well, I've done 2,000 of those so far. And now I got another 1,000 to go. I mean, 3,000 name poop songs, and just so I feel like a character in some like Borges. You ever read? There's a writer called Borges from South America who writes about these like preposterous academic endeavors, and it feels like I am like the subject of one of these weird weird stories, yeah. but it's really happening, and I love it.
So how do you? Obviously, like it's a huge catalog. How do you keep it fresh for yourself and keep, because you're making something, it's so impressive because it's new every time, at least by some degree. So what sort of goes into that process?
So I mean, in the past, like I did birthday songs where I just sang a new name each time, you know. And I felt guilty about it. I was like, this is again, I'm lacking integrity while singing keychain style birthday songs, as if I need to have integrity, but for some reason I wanted to. And so for the name Poop, I was like, I'm writing a completely brand new song every time. And that's crazy. So, I mean, the trick is not to think about it too much, and like, no matter what you do, you know, if you're writing 2,000 name poop songs, they're going to sound a little bit alike after a while. But I think the trick is just to, like, just go with it. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. And I try to push myself. I kind of look at them as, like, songwriting exercises where I can just be like, what if I don't change the chord for the whole song? Like, how unique of a melody can I come up with where the chord is exactly the same thing the whole time, you know? Yeah. And so basically it's just like a practice, but I'm also producing something that will end up making me money. So I'm like getting paid to do a songwriting practice. And you know, I have this series of albums called the No Jokes albums where, you know, I didn't set out to be the name Poop guy, you know? I wasn't like 15 years old being like, someday I'm going to write a poop song for every name.
Right.
So, you know, I had dreams once of being a respectable artist, and I still have those dreams. And I find that I'll stumble upon little chord progressions or just little ideas that happen because I'm just doing all these name poop songs, and then I'll just like make a little note of what I've discovered, and then later on when I'm doing a more serious album, I can use all these little ideas to build, real songs
with integrity.
Of course, yeah. Nobody listens to them though. Like I do the Johnny Poop song gets 50,000 views, and then I write like a heartfelt love song, and people are like, "Sing about poop,
sing about me."
Yeah, that is a thing about it, because when we found our names, we were ecstatic. There's something.
I mean, money aside, stats aside, like the real impressive part about this body of work is the thorough nature of it, and the fact that almost anyone can approach this and see that a part of their life has been covered. And I want to commend you for that.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks. And yeah, that's what I know it's silly, but I also think it's pretty, it's like mind boggling, so when I've done one of those city albums for all 50 states, someone's got to sit back and just look at that and say like, whoa, this guy means it, Mm-hmm. And that's just sort of been my approach to creativity from since I was real young. It's all I think about. It's all I talk about. I drive people crazy. Everyone I know can't stand talking to me because I'm just always blathering on about a creative idea. Oh, but yes. one thing that they will say is like, he means it. Trust us. When he tells us an idea for a project, it's happening no matter what, because I'm just tunnel vision and relentless, and even just like I was watching a Michael Jordan documentary, where like he would create like. He would create a reason to do well in a game. Like there's a story about how like a rookie scored 30 points against him in a game, and like he let that just like devour his brain to the point where he then scored 30 points in the first half just to get back at this rookie who had no idea that like he had caused that much rage in Michael Jordan. My point is, I'm the Michael Jordan of songwriting.
That's right.
Every song's a slam dunk.
And I just have like this desperate urge to follow through on every idea I have, because, like you tell someone you're going to do something and usually they just like roll their eyes and say, yeah, sure you will. Like that's my motivation. I'm like, oh, I'll show you. I'm doing a song about every city and every state.
No, literally, like it's the epitome of committing to the bit.
Committing to the bit.
For years. Which we
admire, yeah.
Yeah. Well said.
What? Oh, this is a thought I had. Was there a certain piece of art or an artist creator that inspired you to start creating all this? Or to be a creator yourself?
Yeah, well, just the obvious stuff. Growing up, I liked me. I grew up. I was born in 1978. But growing up, I listened to a lot of like oldies. Elvis, Beatles, Dylan, Chuck Berry, and I just loved it. And then I dug deeper from there into all kinds of interesting stuff. But it wasn't one specific artist, but like. I did notice, that certain people wrote, like Bob Dylan wrote a song about Woody Guthrie, mm-hmm. and I like to take things to their logical conclusion. I'm like, well, if Dylan could write a song about Woody Guthrie, how about I write a song about every singer ever,
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you found the passionate and objective Joker fan, but that's one of my artist names where I just sing about other singers, to the point where I'm pretty sure Spotify came up with a rule. I think I'm the reason for the rule where you can't have artist names in your titles anymore.
Oh, that's so funny.
But luckily, they haven't taken down the old ones. You just can't do new ones. And so I had already written about every artist of the 20th century anyway, so I'm good for a little while.
Oh man, I haven't checked that one out. I think I'm gonna do that later after this episode because that sounds awesome. Do you have one on Jimi Hendrix?
I would assume so. But, yeah.
Well, that's sort of the other thing that the three of us were kind of thinking about when it comes to producing this much media is like, after a certain point, like it's kind of like, I don't know, being in school as a kid and having to crank out a ton of projects. Like after a certain point, it all kind of blurs together, I'm sure. And you're like, yeah, I know I've written about every town and every city and every state. I'm sure I've covered that one. Like, how is it if someone, have you ever had someone approach you and say like, oh my God, you sang about my hometown? And you're like, oh, I did?
Yeah, I definitely don't remember the city and town songs. While you were just talking, I looked up and I'm happy to report, yes, there is a Hendrix song.
Oh, sweet.
So, but yeah, I definitely can't remember them. I am pretty obsessed with my own work though, in general. Like, I'll go on Spotify and check most of my artist pages just to see how they're doing. And I'll confess, I listen to my own stuff a lot. So
that's awesome.
So I am pretty well versed in my stuff, but I mean, even I can't keep tabs on all of it. A lot of celebrity and musician and cities and whatnot that I haven't listened to them since the day I recorded them.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear about. I suppose the process is just like have the idea, plan out what you're going to cover, write the tunes, send it, and keep going, right?
Yeah, and it just, you have to let go. You know, I think a lot of creative people, they get bogged down. They'll get a project like 90% done, but then they'll spend way too much time on that last 10%, and they don't want to let it go because they're, you know, it's scary to put something out into the world, you know, like you want to make everything perfect, but the beauty, the thing I've discovered for my work at least is that perfection is impossible. So it's like over a pretty short stretch of time, I realized like if I spend 2 hours on a song or 2 weeks, it's not much different. You know, basically what I had after 2 hours is what I had after 2 weeks. And like, oh, the bass is a little heavier now. Like nobody notices, you know, like just let it go. And for me especially, it's like when I let it go, then it's like it clears a path in the brain for the next one to come out. Like the creative part of the brain is like, well, you're still working, I'll leave you alone. But then if you release that song, then the creative part of the brain says, oh, okay, how about this? You know, like the ideas start coming.
Yeah. I love that. Just, it's like, all right, what's next?
I'm actually really curious about that. Like, is that something you sort of developed while you were creating all of these songs? Or do you think that that's like a personality trait that you had prior to starting to write all this music?
No. I mean, I've always been just, I've always wanted to be working on a project in general. Like, whenever my friends would just be hanging out, I would just be like, what do we do? We're just hanging out. We're just sitting here. This is boring. Like, let's make a movie, you know, or let's, you know, let's write an album or do something, you know? And so there was that, but definitely in college, my friend Tom and I, we started doing these like weekend-long sessions where we just write songs. Like we had 90-minute tapes. We would record on tapes. It was the 1990s. And we would just fill up the tapes. We would just keep recording till the tapes were filled up, and we definitely slowly figured out our approach. And the other approach is just don't say no to any idea. Like, don't worry. Just you want to write. We should write a song about a pickle sandwich, you know. And then it's like, well, now we have to do it because we said it. Kind of like that became our mantra.
Yeah.
And
yes,
and it's the same thing. if you don't do the pickle sandwich song, then then the creative part of your brain gets upset, and it's like, well, I'm not going to give you any more ideas. If you're not going to take my ideas, I'm not going to give you any more ideas.
Yeah.
So we have to like placate it, and be like, okay, here's the pickle sandwich song, and then the brain will be like, all right, here's another one. So that's the general theory that we developed. And hey, everyone's got their own method. I like Stanley Kubrick movies, and he notoriously spent years and years getting every scene perfect. And hey, that worked for him. But for me, and especially as a low budget independent person, it's like I can't afford to do another take, a second take. I've also made movies. Have you seen those?
We were watching one before we got on the call today.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting that you bring up the fact that like you have to get an idea out to allow the next idea to come through. And I was curious if you're dealing with writer's block as far as like your musical endeavors go. Do you go and make a short film and that allows more songs to come through, or vice versa?
Yeah, it's just a nice break sometimes, just to be like, all right, doing something different now, but still being creative, and just to kind of shut off the music thing for a few weeks and to film. It's a very very different thing. Making a movie is just oh my goodness, it's like moving mountains, just because we don't pay our actors, and like. Everyone has lives and whatnot, and me and my friend Charlie just are like, hey, will you be in our movie? And people, they want to help us out, but after 2 hours they're looking at their watches and stuff. And so we've gotten to the point where we've kind of streamlined the way we do things. Like we're militaristic in our filmmaking approach. If someone wants to start telling a story, we're like, all right, I bet you this is a great story, but we got 2 more pages of dialogue to film here. So, stop with your story.
Yeah, we don't have time for the pickle sandwich right now, but we'll get to it later.
Yeah. Well, all the creativity in movie making happens when you're writing, I think.
Yeah.
And then the filming of the movie is very just like it's all prep work, and then we get there and we just do it. Mm-hmm. It's almost a little bit on autopilot and just go. But again, I've seen many people's movies only, they work on it for a few weeks and then it just stalls, and then 6 years later it's like, hey, where's that movie? And I don't want that to be the case. So I just like, we are getting this movie done. Again, I don't care how bad it is. We just need to get it done. If it's bad, it'll be bad in a really unique and entertaining way, because we're not dealing with actors. We're dealing with like my coworkers who who have been begging for 6 months to help me out, and they've granted me 3 hours of their life.
Yeah.
So, which one did you watch?
It was Druid something clone.
Druid Gladiator Clone?
Yes.
Druid Gladiator Clone, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
We got...
That was way back. Yeah, that was back in 2002, I think, that we did that.
Which is like practically the 90s.
We got a little bit more professional since then, but not much.
Good. I'm glad you've kept your edge.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I was curious if you had mentioned that as far as the movie making process goes, that a lot of the creativity happens during the planning process. Is that the similar approach that you take when you write your songs, or is that more spur of the moment, like you sit down in front of a keyboard and you just kind of go?
Yeah, the songs are more the writing and the recording are almost simultaneous, and again, if I'm doing a name poop song, that's very different than if I'm just writing like even some, my songs about food, for instance, or the poop, the toilet bowl cleaner songs, a lot of them actually rhyme. They have like bridges and choruses and whatnot. But it'll definitely be recording and writing happen more or less simultaneously, but not necessarily in an improvised way. More like I'll get the music down, record the music, and then go back and figure out how the words are going to fit in, or and some method sort of like that.
For sure. And I'm sure you've developed a method over the years. Have you figured out like your streamlined, patented Matt Farley TM method as far as writing your songs goes?
Well, I try not to, because I don't want it to be. I know it's going to come out as a Matt Farley song, but I think the trick is to like forget every time and to fool myself into thinking that this is original. Because a song that is just 2 or 3 chords can sound like it's just like it's going through the motions, but sometimes it can sound full of life, and I think the trick is to not just to be a little bit dumb about it, like to be like, oh, like this is original, and not think about, I mean, especially songwriting, if you think about it long enough, you'll figure out 6 million other songs that use these exact chords, and that can be crippling and make you want to just quit, but I don't do that. I think, oh my goodness, I can't, a D and then an A. This is brilliant. And I just go with it, and I think that joy can translate when it works. It translates into a good song.
Certainly. Well, we are coming up around 40 minutes here. Zach had prepared a little bit of a game. Would you like to play it with us?
Yeah, let's play a game.
Yeah,
take it away, Zach.
We like guessing games and trivia games here on the podcast. We tried really hard to come up with a good name for this one. Well, what we ended up coming up with was Area Vibes or Matt Farley Lines. What do you think? Is that a good name?
We can work with it.
We'll
workshop.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so what I've done is we've gone to areavibes.com, which is like a neighborhood and town and city like review site for people who want to move there. And we've grabbed some lines, and then we've grabbed some lines from your Illinois 2 album, Fun Yeah. And we're going to see if you can guess if it's an Area Vibe or a Matt Farley line.
Oh, this is fun. I'm ready.
Great.
All right, so let's see here. The first one is going to be, I love to go to the Woodfield Mall and go shopping. Schaumburg, such a good city.
I'm going to say that's a Matt Farley line.
That is certainly a Matt. Yeah, that is from
nailed
your
it.
ode to Schaumburg.
Nice.
Strong start.
Yes.
Have you had the pleasure of visiting the Woodfield Mall in Schaumburg?
I visited the Wikipedia page and mentioned that.
It's awful.
I'm not sure if you're familiar, but at least once a year, somebody will crash a car into the mall. Somebody will just drive right into it.
I wish I had known that for the song. I've been to 48 out of 50 states, so
Wow.
I've been to a lot of cities and whatnot. But all the songs are. I'll write the music, and then when it's time for vocals, I will just bring up the Wikipedia page, hit record, and literally just sing what I see on the page until it's over.
Oh, so that'll make the game
improv.
very difficult.
We'll see.
All right, 1 for 1. Number 2
right,
is
next.
Quincy has got some nice public parks. I like to go to them.
It sounds like a Matt Farley line.
Yeah, it is. It's your song.
Nice.
We were worried that anything presented in first person would be a dead giveaway, so we did our best to shuffle them through here.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
In Niles, there's no shortage of amazing local amenities and interesting things to do.
I don't think I don't. I'm gonna say that's not me.
Yeah, that's definitely
That
Area
is an
Vibes.
area vibe.
An
You are
area
correct.
vibe.
Okay. Yeah. Amenities. I don't think I sing the word amenities very much.
Damn it, a dead
Dang it,
giveaway.
yeah. We should have known. Naperville, Illinois attracts people from all over the country and the world. It has everything you'd ever want in a suburban town.
That is not me.
Oh man.
You know, I think it's because it's too verbose.
I think
It is.
It might be a
It
little
is.
too verbose.
So it's not me. Am I right?
Yeah,
No,
you're right.
Area vibe.
You're killing it so far.
Yeah. Skokie is a village in Illinois. It's a very nice place to spend your time.
I'm gonna say that's me.
Yeah, you do know your work.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking. I'm just saying. Like, would I say that? And so far it's working. So let's keep this streak alive.
You're doing great. Go with your gut. We'll have to send you a trophy or something.
Yeah, we will. If you don't think there's anything to do or see in Arlington Heights, you're crazy.
I hope that I'm going to say it's me, and I hope it is me because that's a great line.
Nope, someone was really passionate about Arlington Heights.
We have our first stump.
That person is a poet.
Yeah, they did good. Berwyn's got a good school system to teach your kids a lot of good stuff.
That's definitely me.
Overall, the town.
I like to imagine that the guy who sings songs about cities and towns is just so blindly positive about every city,
Yeah.
He's totally he's on the take, like the government leaders are paying him off for these good
Yeah,
odes.
He works
so
for
stoked.
the local chamber of commerce. They've hired him to.
That's a sponsorship idea.
I released a single about a city in New Jersey where the council actually they paid me to do the song, because
wow.
it didn't make. It was a real small town that didn't make I did 90 songs about New Jersey, but they didn't make it, and they were like, "Come on, man, we want
One
we
more.
want our song."
Yeah.
That's awesome. You could be like some town's official song.
Yeah, that's a huge deal.
All right.
That would be so great. I think I mispronounce Naperville or I don't even know what it's supposed to be. Naperville or Naperville? Which one is it? Or do you guys know?
Naperville.
Yeah.
The good
I
Midwest.
think I call it Napper.
You know?
You got to get that Midwest sinus infection in there.
Yeah. All right. Two more
ready. You
for
got
you.
more?
Yeah. Overall, the town is a very family-friendly town.
Which
That's not me.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, that was good.
Someone said that about Buffalo Grove. North Chicago is a suburb of regular old Chicago.
That's me.
Yeah. I really like that tune. You found the Chicago blues in that one. You really did.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I did 8 out of 9 or
I
something?
think you got 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
That is a passing grade.
Your Illinois cities and towns and your lyrics about them.
Very well
I
done.
bet Paul McCartney would be stumped more than that.
I think so.
Well, I mean, as we sort of close, do you have you've already given a ton of, I think, really awesome artistic advice, but do you have anything that you specifically want to encourage people who are pursuing creative things to keep in mind?
Yeah. Some people get down about they have a defeatist attitude, and they'll be like streaming services don't pay. What's the point? The deck is stacked against us, and it's like, yes, the deck is stacked against us, but versus say 1989. In 1989, to make it in the music industry, you would just have to be chosen by a gatekeeper, in LA or Hollywood or New York or something. Like, your entire success relied upon a stranger liking you, one person. Whereas now, you can make your music available to the entire world, like that. And so, oh my God, this is unbelievable. This is so much like you said when we started talking. Like, the future is now. I can see you, on my computer screen here as we're talking. It's amazing. So, with podcasting and just self-publishing and all this stuff, we at least we have a chance. We have a tiny little fighting chance where I mean, come on. There's no way that I would ever be signed by a record label now, and especially not, in 1990 or And imagine if we lived in like 1512.
Oh, God, yeah.
There's no way to make it in the music business in 1512. So life is amazing, and yes, it's hard, but it should be hard because we're singing. Come on, like I'm singing dumb songs. Like it should require an outrageous amount of effort to make a middle class living singing dumb songs. So that's my point of view and my advice to the people.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's great.
Yeah, it's hard because it's worth it.
Yeah, well, the truth is we'd be doing it anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a dirty little secret that we need to do this. You guys. I'm assuming this podcast is not paying the bills for you, but it's so much fun, isn't it?
No,
Yeah.
I mean certainly. We're sitting here on a Sunday evening and we're chatting with the guy, the odd man who writes songs about poop, puke, and pee, and we're having the time of our lives.
Yeah.
And it's a surprisingly deep and philosophical conversation.
It is. once you get past the surface level.
Let's plug. So this is coming out May 31st, and June 3rd is a very important day, isn't it?
Oh yeah, World Moturn Day.
Moturn Day.
I came up with this great idea. I was like, I'll just create a worldwide holiday where all people are required to listen to my music all day, and if they do that, I'll be like a multi-millionaire like that. Thus far, it's made me a multi-hundredaire, which not quite what I was aiming for, but yeah, it's my birthday, and so I just declared it a worldwide holiday, and it's just a little promotional thing, and I mean, it would be cool if it caught on. It hasn't, but I encourage all of you. There's a playlist on Spotify called Official Moturn Media Playlist. Just listen to the whole thing. 8 hours of my distinct voice coming at you. Go all kinds of wacky songs, serious songs, fun songs, slow songs, fast songs. And after 8 hours, play it again. Play it for another 8 hours.
Yeah.
That's all I ask of you. Listen to me all day. And let's do it. My wife wants she wants a lazy river around our house.
Well,
is that too much to ask
try
people?
to make that happen for her. We're
That
gonna be
sounds
playing
like a
it.
really good
We're gonna be
birthday
asking our
present.
fans to be playing it.
I'm not joking. She's like, wouldn't it be so great if we had a lazy river? And wouldn't it?
Yes. Oh, 100%.
Sponsored by Spotify. Yeah.
I mean, it's a collaborative effort. If you can get one, that just proves that someday we'll be able to get one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you get one, you at least gotta let us swim in it. I bet it's
That's
nice
true.
in Michigan.
Yeah. Anyone who partakes in World Moturn Day can come do a lap.
Beautiful.
There you go. It's
Well,
beautiful.
folks, you heard it here first. June 3rd is World Moturn Day, and we will certainly also be sharing that playlist for everyone to enjoy and celebrate with. Because what an occasion.
Sounds good. Oh yeah. I know it's not very modest of me, but the entertainment business, modesty's not doesn't get you too far in it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we listen to our own voices. We do this because we like hearing ourselves talk.
Because we think we're
Yes.
funny.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
Well, great. Do you want to? How can folks find you before we let you go? Can they?
My personal phone number is 603 644-0048. You can call me anytime, and people do.
Wow.
All the time. I get texts, and I sing if you listen to enough of my songs, you'll hear me actually sing my phone number in hundreds of them.
Wow.
And
What a great
whenever that
marketing
happens-
campaign, because people are out there just going to call it to make sure it's you.
amen. That was my thank you. You get it.
Yeah, we all went to art school. We certainly get it.
When I heard you
Yeah,
start
okay.
saying numbers, I got a little freaked out because I haven't looked at numbers in 10 years.
Well, let me say last thing, especially since you all went to art school, like the dirt, like the dirty secret, or just like the fact that like self-promotion is awful. Like it hurts. It's painful. But if you don't do it, then, you're making art for nobody, like you want people to see it. And what I always tell myself is like, if I was part of a record company, like there'd be this huge corporation, putting they put billboards of artists up, like that is not modest, but the artist gets to act modest. They're like, oh, it's not me that put it up there. It's the company I work for, but indirectly it is you. And so what I'm saying is like, it's actually more modest to literally promote yourself because you're being honest about it, versus like, I'm just so sick of the fake promotional machine and people, artistic people acting cool when they work for mega corporations. They literally work for gigantic multinational corporations and they act like cool, renegade, bad boy artists. And it's like, you work for Sony,
Your boss
knock
is a
it off.
millionaire.
Yeah, knock it off, So get out there and shamelessly promote yourself and don't feel bad about it.
I love it.
That's great advice. We're going to take it.
Absolutely.
God, I don't think I've stopped smiling like this whole conversation. I want to thank you again for taking your Sunday night to chat with us.
This has been a blast. Thank you, and stay in touch.
I love it.
We'll
Thank
do.
you
Before
so
I let
much.
you go, Matt,
Yeah.
do you have a guy who writes about action movies?
No, well, I have the singing film critic.
Oh, okay.
He only has one album. Not a lot of action movies in there. I'm a big horror movie fan. 80s slashers are my things.
Oh, okay.
Action movies never quite did it for me. But
I said I was gonna
Silent
think,
Night, Deadly.
I thought I was gonna think all episode about how to give you some advice for your lore. So if you get an action movie guy, he should get in a fight with the nice guy.
Oh, some tension.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's watching all these action scenes.
Yeah, he's
and it
got
just goes to
testosterone
his
flowing
head.
through his veins.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yes. All right. Well, with that, we will let you go. Thank you so much, Matt. We had a great time.
Likewise. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Talk
Thanks,
soon.
Matt.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us for the past 37 and a half minutes. We had a fantastic time hanging out with Matt Farley of Moturn Media. Please go check out Moturn Media Day. Listen to that playlist. Support the guy. He's so nice.
We will absolutely be sharing the Moturn Media playlist as well as just the general World Moturn Day festivities on June 3rd. If you want to find us on the internet, we are on Instagram and Twitter at Album or Brews, and we would love for you to come hang out with us on our little corner of the internet.
I'm going to go listen to the Logan Poop song and then the Chicago Poop song on repeat and try not to dox myself.
Have a good rest of your day.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.